Come to Joy News Prime with me, Israel. Here on Joy News on Multi TV. In this edition, doctors at the country's public hospitals resolved to extend their strike for another 2 weeks. Meanwhile, government has released a list of health facilities. It says members of the public needing health care could visit as the strike by the doctors continues. Concerns grow about security in Tuobodom following the burning of some houses in the Bonahafo region town, believed to be in retaliation for recent attacks. President Kufuor awarded Living Legend Doctorate degree by University of Education, Winneba. Also in the bulletin, exclusive coverage of the Twin Festival of the People of Gamashin that precedes the annual Homowo festivities. We also bring you business, sports and international news all coming up in the next 60 minutes. Please stay tuned for the bulletin, which is also available across Europe on ABN television. Now, very first story, members of the Ghana Medical Association have voted at a crucial General Assembly meeting to remain on strike for 2 more weeks. They have, however, agreed not to resign en masse as threatened by their leadership 2 weeks ago over an absence of documented conditions of service. Joy News' Matilda Womaga reports a motion to restore emergency services was quashed 213 to 148 by a counter motion to maintain the status quo.
What that means is that they are going to continue withdrawing emergency services and outpatient department services. This is what they've arrived at, and they think that government hasn't treated them fairly over the years, and they want this matter resolved. They've given a further 2 weeks for this to continue. Beyond that period, depending on whatever gains may or may not have been made.
The Ghana Medical Association had earlier threatened to declare its members working at the public hospitals out of job over government's delay in finishing them with their conditions of service. The doctors, according to a roadmap adopted by the association, have withdrawn their services from both outpatient departments and emergency units. Though the final phase of the roadmap would have seen the mass resignation, the doctors voted at emergency general meeting to give government 2 more weeks on humanitarian grounds. President of Residents Association on the GMA explained many of the doctors favored an extension of the strike.
Well, the general membership has spoken, and gauging from the mood of the general house, I think from the onset this is what they wanted to happen. You have to go by the General Assembly meeting. You can see the numbers were quite huge, the difference between the 2 motions which were passed. So
what was the 2 motions?
It was almost close to 100, so the difference between the 2.
So what was the 2 motions?
Yeah, that the current action should stay, that we're not going to see outpatients and then emergency cases as well. But we'll continue to see the inpatients.
The Deputy General Secretary, Justice Yankson, said the extension is in response to the numerous appeals.
What that means is that they are going to continue withdrawing emergency services and outpatient department services. This is what they've arrived at, and they think that government hasn't treated them fairly over the years, and they want this matter resolved. They've given a further 2 weeks for this to continue. Beyond that period, depending on whatever gains may or may not have been made, they will reconvene. And if you go back to the release we gave you after the 29th of June, it was so clear that there was a first phase, a second phase, and a third phase, and that third phase will begin the processes leading to that final resignation you keep talking about. If you read the document, well, nobody said today. As we speak, the patients that we admitted before the onset of this whole action, we still owe them a duty of care. Not all of them have been discharged, for which reason we will still have to continue taking care of them. The members also looked at the general posture from the country, i.e. the appeals from various sections. And they said, well, as a sign of good faith, they will continue to take care of such people. And that they gave the negotiating team a mandate to continue this and achieve their desires within 2 weeks.
Many of the doctors are meanwhile unhappy with government's posture.
You have a government who is not ready to negotiate. He comes to the table and says, we cannot give you this. We cannot do that. We cannot do this. A government which took 9 months to even come to the negotiation table. A government who promised to fix it in 2 weeks and even in 1 month did not fix it. A government who says doctors are essential service providers. Their issues must be resolved in 3 days and took them more than 9 months to fix it. And you are saying what?
If you consider us as essential as we say, why can't the same be done for us? We are not trying to say that we're just going to use bargaining chip of life to get what we deserve. Of course, that was one of the things we discussed at this meeting, not to take an entrenched position. We have been very open-minded. We are very susceptible to all the changes, be it good or bad. That is why we want to meet the government halfway. But if you take an entrenched position and say, I'm not going to pay anything towards your postgraduate education, you take an entrenched position and say, I'm not going to give you any tax exemption on car waiver and the likes. I mean, when you can give other people, or when the government is having a lot of money to spend on its own, government businesses, nobody's going to accept this. We are all Ghanaians. I can get sick. As I'm speaking to you, I know doctors who are sick, who have MI. I'm diabetic myself. I can just have an MI anytime. I can have a stroke anytime. So we mean well for Ghana. We're telling the government that it should set up, revise its position, and then we can have a fruitful negotiation going forward.
The General Assembly will meet after 2 weeks to decide on the way forward. Matilda Pomaga for Joy News, Accra.
Meanwhile, members of the public Joy News has been speaking with are not impressed with the extension of the strike, saying they would have preferred if the doctors resigned as they are threatened. There are those, however, who believe the gesture by the doctors to stay on is positive.
Really, I would rather wish that they resign en masse. Then government can also call the shot and say that, okay, now this is your condition of service. Are you willing to come on board? Because at the end of the day, the vulnerable, the poor are already suffering. They will suffer the blunt. So if you resign en masse, I would want to encourage government to dare them to resign en masse, and then they can also put their cards on the table and say that, okay, this is what we are offering you. Because at the end of the day, they have something already.
And now, if you can see, there are so many patients, which are crying of help. So, for me, it's good for them to, stay.
For me, I do agree that they go and do some sit-down strike. Yes, when they get there and there's an emergency case, at least those with sympathy, they can just do something about it. They can have sympathy for the one who is the sick person.
I won't say it's a useless. Sometimes you need a wake-up call to the government so that at least at the end of the day, it knows that if people are serious, if people are suffering. I won't call it as a useless. But to the extent that you still want your post, and yet you still go to, you still pursue on strike again, to me, I don't think it's right.
Now, Labour consultant Ben Arthur says the striking doctors do not have any locus to extend their strike. He says this will affect ongoing negotiations. Going forward, he says government can rely on Section 170 of the Labour Act 651/2003 to get at least minimal staff to offer maintenance services as negotiations continue.
When it comes to workers' rights, provided that the strike is legal, they have the right to extend it as long as the dispute remains, or as long as there hasn't been any pronouncement from National Labour Commission. Once it is illegal, then you don't even have a business adding a day or two. The initial action itself is illegal, so why do you extend it? So
how will this affect negotiations?
Definitely. From the point of view of doctors, I don't stand here to speak for them, but they are aware that government has taken an entrenched position,
right,
by saying that anything that has not been in the budget cannot be open for negotiation. So at least the doctors are aware that even if they are called to the negotiating table, right, it could only be more or less a space for them to call off their strike. Okay. That's probably the way they interpret the invitation of government. Okay. Of course, the doctors have also taken entrenched positions.
Right.
And once we have had both parties take entrenched positions, the way out is this. that we need National Labour Commission to come in, and they have the window of opportunity to come in to select a mediator for the parties. If at the end of the mediation or the parties fail to even go for mediation, National Labour Commission can empanel 3 members to institute a compulsory arbitration.
Right.
And once they come out with an arbitral award, government and medical association ought to abide by it. You can only contest it in appeals court. This is the way forward.
So can government actually force the doctors to return to work through due process?
Sarcastically, I read for all of us, for the nation, Section 170 of the Labour Act 651 of 2003, that you will not be able to force all the workers back there, but at least it's compulsory that we get minimal staff to keep what we call minimum maintenance services. And it says that if a worker who is striking is asked to go back to work for the sake of minimal maintenance services, that is it. We cannot say that all of them will be required for that, but at least some critical areas, we need 1, 2, 3, 4 people to do that, and we have that opportunity under the Labour Act. It doesn't mean that when you are angry and you are all going on strike, the whole system should suffer for that. And the law says that it ought to have been agreed on as part of the conditions of service. But if you don't have it, what we have to do is that we have to go back to the National Labour Commission. It's one of the most important bodies we have in this country, but unfortunately, we have not afforded them with this importance. They have to come in.
Now, there's been very little from government about the extension of the strike by the doctors. The Ministry of Health has however released a list of public health facilities it says are not on strike and is urging members of the public needing health care to visit. So on the list, we have the University of Ghana Hospital, which is at Legon, the Atomic Energy Commission Clinic at Kwabenya, Airport Clinic, Airport, 37 Military Hospital at 37, Police Hospital at Cantonment, VRA Hospitals at Osu, Akosombo and Abuadze, the Bank of Ghana Clinic at Ridge, the GBC Clinic at Kanda, SIC Clinics at Tudu, and Ghana Post Clinic, Jamestown. Also on the list, Cocoa Clinic, Carnation, Kumasi, and Deviso, Ghana Commercial Bank Clinic at Kantamanto, Graphic Clinic at Adabraka, University of Ghana Medical School Clinic at Kolebu, the Kwame Nkrumah University Hospital in Kumasi, Cape Coast Hospital at Cape Coast, University of Development Studies Clinic in Tamale, University of Development Studies Clinic in Wa, Anglo Gold Ashanti Hospital at Obuasi, Gapoha Hospital Clinic, Tema and Takrady, Valco Hospital, Tema, Ghana Bauxite Hospital at Awaso, and Bui Dam Clinic in the Branhafo region. Also on the list, Ghana Consolidated Diamond Clinic at Akwetia, and then the SNIT hospitals at Osu, Adenta, Medina, Tema, Dansuman. The statement also adds that the ministry is mindful of its mandate of creating quality and accessible healthcare for the people of this country. For this reason, the public is advised to desist from adopting self-medication. In other news, several residents of the Branhafo region town of Tobodom are said to be fleeing following reprisal attacks after violent clashes left 5 people dead. Though the police has managed to make some arrests, the residents are said to be leaving in their hundreds. Reprisal attacks in the town last night left 4 homes burned with several other properties destroyed. One of the victims has been speaking with Joy News.
Someone came to inform me about the fire. I rushed to the scene only to see my house ablaze. I screamed for help. Fortunately, my neighbors came to my aid. I was told the police would be here this morning, so I am waiting for them.
Now let's get the latest on the security situation in the town now from Anas Sabit with Gaskia FM. Good evening to you, Anas. What's the security situation in Tobodom as we speak?
Currently, the security has been tightened as I spoke with the divisional commander of police a few minutes ago, DSP Emmanuel Timothy Anka. He confirmed to me that earlier, they had 80 policemen on the floor with over 30 military men also there. Some few minutes ago when I spoke with him, he told me some more security men have been brought from Accra to ensure that security has been tightened.
Has it helped at all in any way with the insecurity in the town with people said to be fleeing? Has this helped to calm their fears?
Exactly, it has helped a lot. Just some few minutes ago, there was an arrest made relating to the shootings earlier last Wednesday. So the police were able to make an arrest some few minutes back, and security are confident that the addition of or the reinforcement is going to ensure that they have more security on the field to deal with the situation.
Now, we have already heard about some arrests that was as of yesterday. So can you tell us, how many arrests have been made so far?
Yes, exactly. Yesterday, 2 arrests were made, and then earlier this morning there were 2 extra arrests made when I was there at the police station. 2 arrests, but the arrest made earlier this morning has a relation with some theft cases. These people who are taking advantage of the situation, and then they're going about, looting items from people who have already fled outside the township. So the arrest made earlier this morning were 2, both being thieves. But this evening, another arrest was made, and speaking with the commander, he told me they made the arrest based on the information they received from people in the community. They're still trying to get more information and then pick more men, pick more people out to Sinyani. The man who has been picked currently on his way to Sinyani, and that's all the placed in front of a few minutes ago.
All right, thank you very much. You heard Anas Sabit. He is with Gaskia FM. We're taking a break. We'll be back with more stories. Please stay tuned. The people of Gamashi today celebrated one of the key cardinals of the annual Homowo Festival. The twin festival which precedes the Homowo festivities and known as Yeyeye or Hajia Yeleyeli is commemorated the Friday preceding the Homowo festivities on Saturday. My colleague Michaela Anderson finds out more about this peculiar celebration exclusively for multiple birds and their parents.
Yeyeye is a special ceremony that precedes the Homowo festival celebrated by the people of Gamashi. This particular ceremony is performed on a Friday, and it's a festival of twins, triplets, and other multiple birds. We've decided to visit some homes here in Gamashi to see how they are celebrating what they term as Hajia Yeleyeli.
We the Gans, we believe whoever give birth twins is a blessing to the family. And there is a custom to perform every year before the Homowo. By performing those customs, it gives us more open ways to success and blessing and achieve your goals in life. It's purely custom. That is how we do it. Before the Friday, the twins will be called, the souls of the twins will be called, and they will determine things that should be done for them. Some will decide, don't slaughter sheep, just get 2 fowls and do it for us. And then the D-Day, like this Friday morning, they will be bathed, they will make oto with eggs, and then lay the table for them with a nice cloth. Both of them, if they are triple, you dress them, they sit them up, you serve them with the oto. Meanwhile, there will be a sisi, and then they will put the leaves, different type of leaves which I cannot mention all. They will put it with pour libation. People who wish to give birth twins, they also come and request. They will bring some money that they should be pour libation, that next year by this time they also conceive and give birth twins. So it happens. People request and it happens. Later in the afternoon, around 2-3 o'clock, the house, the members of the house will gather, and then they will start to sing, and then one particular person will choose to carry the thing, and then they will be singing, carrying. If they are children, they will carry them on their shoulders, following it. If they grown up, they will be following it. There's a particular street in Accra that they have earmarked for that. In Gamashi, people will move from the various houses, but we all converge, and then at the Lomoko house, there's a street leading to Havana, you see, to Kolewaku. And then everybody would ask for that road, everybody passes there. And then you go and cross the railway line, there's a place there, we dump it there, they pour libation, and then they end it there, and then come back.
Now, junior high school students in some parts of Ghana are yet to see and touch a computer, yet they're expected to write examinations on information and communication technology with their peers elsewhere. Teachers reveal many students confuse the computer mouse with the rodent pest they are familiar with. Lava Firm's Erastus Asare filed the following report after a visit to one such community in the Bosome Frehu district at the instance the chiefs and people who want to draw attention to their challenges.
Nsuta is nerve center for about 14 cocoa growing communities in the Bosome Frehu district. The people, mostly farmers, are saddled with many challenges, including education, healthcare and transportation. The town, surrounded by about 21 smaller communities, has only one junior high school housed in an old structure. The building has 3 small windowless, each crammed with about 80 students. Perhaps more worrying is the fact that these students who write ICT examinations with the rest of Ghana have never seen a computer before. Christopher Damti Mensah is GES Second Supervisor for the area.
45 communities and we are 9 schools, IHS schools, there 20.
We have about 45 communities, 20 junior high schools, but no senior high school. JHS graduates here have to travel 14 miles to New Edubiase just to have access to secondary education. Parents who cannot afford to keep their wards in boarding schools have no option but to let them learn a trade or drop out.
All health emergencies and general ailments from the about 21 farming communities end up at this chief's compound, manned by about 5 enrolled and community health nurses. It has room to keep patients for only 24 hours. The entire population of the town, including the chiefs, converge around this small hill near the school to make and receive telephone calls because it is the only spot for mobile phone reception.
I went to visit one of my friends this morning and I was told he was on top of a tree making a telephone call. I didn't know that they had a telecommunication problem in this community. I am pleading to the government to come to their aid in this regard.
The simple message to governments and Ghanaians for which the people of Nsuta invited our reporter is, come to our aid.
The Governing Council of the University of Education, Winneba, has conferred the Living Legend Award on former President John Agyekum Kufuor. The award, an honorary doctorate degree, was given for the ex-president's distinguished service to the nation during his tenure as president. Mr. Kufuor served a 2-term presidency, which he described as the golden age of business. Since leaving office, the former president has served as a statesman on several high-level international boards and received a number of awards. Also, the acting public relations officer of the Ghana Education Service says teachers in public schools tend to be more disciplined than their counterparts in the private schools. Reverend Jonathan Bette believes that training received by the teachers in public schools makes them more professional in relating to the pupils than the private school teachers. Reverend Bette also described the action by the teacher at the Mary Mother of Good Counsel School, where the pupil was bound, as barbaric. He was speaking on Joy FM's Ghana Connect program.
Public schools are more disciplined, the teachers are more disciplined than the private schools. In actual fact, our public schools, the teachers are more disciplined because we continually monitor them. In actual fact, most of our teachers, because they've been trained, that's why we call them professional teachers. They've been trained. So what they are supposed to do, they know it. What they are not to do, they know it. And Ghana Education Service has a standard, and we have a code of conduct, a professional code of conduct that all our teachers are aware of. So when you are going contrary to the conduct of our profession, we will caution you. We will go. Our head teachers are up and doing. They know we have head teachers handbook that guides our head teachers, and our head teachers are also professionals, so they also guide their teachers. So what we are hearing about a teacher, for that matter, a woman, I don't know whether a girl.
Okay, it's so up for this debate, yeah, that's true.
A woman to sellotape a child's mouth to a chair is barbaric. It's so serious. You can't see that in a public school.
You're watching Joy News Prime. We're taking a break now, but up next we bring you the business news with Eton Amse.
Business news is...
It's Friday. My pleasure to bring you business. My name is Eton Amse. Government is confident that proposed changes being made to the current banking laws will go a long way to bring about some confidence in the banking system. Government is currently reviewing the laws that guide operations of banks and non-bank financial institutions. Some of the laws include the Depositors Bill, which is currently before Parliament for consideration for the necessary amendments to be made to its approval. Speaking to Joy Business after the annual general meeting of the Ghana Association of Bankers, Deputy Finance Minister Mona Korte said these reviews are critical because it will go a long way to develop the entire financial sector.
The Ghana Association of Bankers mentioned that they are looking to set up an SME fund together with the Bank of Ghana. I think that is just a great idea, because there's no doubt that the SME is a very important part of our economy. I mean, when we talk about the private sector being the engine of growth, and we see them as suppliers into the large-scale production, whether it's for export or for use in country, they are just so important. So the special deposit taking bill and so forth will help, because those will bring in to streamline the way that business is done and to manage the business even better. I'm confident that we'll continue to get pass marks as we go along, because the fiscal consolidation process is going very well, and then as you know already, George, the first review went well, with the exception of just one technical point, which we are still discussing. So there's no doubt that our second review will go well when it is time for it. But the fund goes to the board, this month, and hopefully we should get our next tranche.
In a related development, the managing director of GCB Bank, Simon Donu, has been re-elected as the president of the Ghana Association of Bankers. Speaking to Joy Business after the annual general meeting, Mr. Donu described 2014 as a very interesting year. He was, however, optimistic that 2016 might be somehow exciting because of measures being put in place to stabilize the economy.
We have a full plate, a lot to do. And we are fully engaged. Today we elected new council members to take this forward. So our work is cut out for us. It is important that we stay online for a regular consultation to ensure that we continue to pursue activities that promote cooperation while keeping GAB, Ghana Association of Bankers, as a relevant and useful organization for the banking community. I want to thank you all for your continued support as we work towards realizing our aims as the preeminent trade association in Ghana. I know it's a journey. We are on that. We will make sure that it happens.
Well, we say congratulations to Mr. Samuel Simon Donu, the individuals who are looking for easier ways to save their monies have a new opportunity to do so. It's the latest savings and investment product dubbed SWIFT, an acronym for Save Wise Investments for Tomorrow. The product, which is aimed at providing financial access to the over 64% of Ghanaians who do not use bank accounts, was launched Thursday by Daylex Finance. According to Director of Operations at Daylex Finance, Joe Jackson, Save Wise Investment for Tomorrow SWIFT is not only a contributory system that allows people to save something from the little money they earn, but also provides them an easy way of saving using their mobile phones. Their mobile phone numbers therefore become their account numbers. The mobile money platform, he said, provides a very convenient mode of transaction or payment for users, hence the decision by Daylex to utilize it. There are currently over 19,000 mobile money outlets in the country. That, according to Mr. Jackson, gives Ghanaians an unfettered opportunity to save via any of these outlets. He, however, added that post offices, commercial banks, as well as ATMs and national lottery agencies could be used to make contributions. Meanwhile, Chairman of the National Development Planning Commission, Dr. Kwesi Boche, has indicated that the Bank of Ghana has been at the forefront in the national efforts to improve financial inclusion in the country. In his keynote address at the launch of SWIFT by Daylex Financial Services, he said this is because the bank recognized that improving financial access is essential for the efficacy of monetary policy.
The importance of financial inclusion for development has long been recognized in the literature on economic development or developing economics. And in recent times, micro-prudential policy considerations for developing countries have come into renewed focus. A great deal is being done to improve the situation, done especially by the Bank of Ghana. The bank has been in the forefront, as it should be, of the national effort to improve financial inclusion, obviously because it is the bank's statutory mandate to do so, but even more importantly, the bank is doing so, must be doing so, as out of a recognition that deepening the financial system and improving access to financial services is absolutely essential for the efficacy of monetary policy.
That's it for business. My name is Eto Namse. Many thanks for your time. Sports is next. Please stay.
Business news.
The sports segment is brought to you by
Mixi Milk Powder. Health is a delicious step away.
Let's do some sports now and begin with the All-African Games, where Team Ghana are preparing assiduously for the games. But the sad news coming through from the Ghana Athletics Authority is that potential gold medalist Martha Bisa may not be a part of Team Ghana. We caught up with the former GAA boss, George Luchod, who is criticizing the current administration for Martha Bisa's current woes.
The time requirements to qualify to the All-African Games, I was shocked.
Very surprising indeed. Let's build up to match day 28 of the first Capital Plus Premier League games to be honored over this weekend. Let's get to see the games that are coming up at the various league centres this weekend. Great Olympics will play Wafa. Brickum Chelsea will play Ashgold. Mediama Sporting Club will play Hearts of Oak. And then Liberty Professionals will play Interlice. Bichim United will play Wa All Stars. Kumasi Asante Kotoko will play BA United. New DBS will play Hazakis, with Pando Heart of Lions playing Diana Stars. The big one is on here in Accra. It's the Millennium Marathon, which will be held on the 5th of September. It's going to be one hell of an event. We've been speaking to the Deputy Minister of Sport, Vincent Opuasama, who is rallying Ghanaians ahead of this maiden event.
The biggest thing that is going to happen to Ghana when come September 5th.
So all that we are urging our media partners that please hype this event. We are going to sell Ghana to the whole world. I know internationally a lot of dignitaries will be coming to Ghana, come to the paper piece. To me, apart from say the World Cup, the biggest event that is going to happen to our nation is Millennium Marathon. I know the Ministry of Youth and Sport is so much associated with this. And I also urge that if there are other ministries or departments that have scheduled any event on 5th September, we are only urging them to postpone it. Because this is an event that even the president of the land is so much interested in. And we are all going to follow it to ensure that it succeeds.
And we understand the winner is going to be going away with a car. I can't wait to win that if I get myself in shape to take part. Let's do some news from the English Premier League, and good news for a lot of Ghanaians and fans of Chelsea. We understand that Barima has had a medical with the club. We're waiting with bated breath to know whether the player has passed the medical or otherwise. It will be interesting to see him play in the English Premier League anytime next week. We still stay with the transfers and English football, of course, and he's been dubbed the new Messi. He plays for Football Club Barcelona in Spain with the junior team. Adama Traore, we understand, has completed a move to join Aston Villa in the English Premier League. And staying with the English Premier League, one game is currently ongoing as we speak. Manchester United are playing Aston Villa. This was a goal that was scored by Adnan Januzaj in the game. That game is just about ended. Manchester United have won that game. We wrap up with some news on the German Bundesliga, which will be going into action later this weekend. Bayern Munich looking to make it 4 in the row, and that's what's motivating manager Pep Guardiola going into match day 1.
No one has won 4 titles in a row, and for us it would be great, but it's a long road. There is a long, long way to go. But if no one has done it before, it shows you how difficult it is to achieve.
And just before I go, the Spanish Super Cup is also currently ongoing at the San Mamés between Football Club Barcelona and Atletico Bilbao. Barca losing it in the first half by a lone goal to 0. That's it for sports. The news continues.
The sports segment was